How much would you have made if you have invested just $100,000 in Google back when it was just getting started? That's exactly what David Carradine did, and today his net worth is over $6 billion. That's probably one of the best investments ever. However, not everyone gets such a chance to become a billionaire. Not everyone has an extra 100 grand to throw it at another startup. Nonetheless, there are endless number of opportunities all around. In fact, 1,700 people just here in the US are becoming millionaires every single day. And if you want to be one of them, you gotta start somewhere. But here is the problem. 40% of Americans can't even cover unexpected $1,000 bill because they're just living paycheck to paycheck. So most people can't even pull out $1,000 to invest. But $100? Easy, almost everyone can afford that. However, it seems like you can't do much with it, since even, for example, a single Apple stocks costs twice that amount. And I'm not even talking about Amazon or Google. Even index funds are not an option. How much do you think $100 over 40 years with 8% returns would amount? Just a little over $2,100. But don't worry, because there are actually legit great ways to invest even as little as $100 that I have used, and I will share them with you here in this video. So let's start with the first one. Start a business. I know that it sounds cliche because to start a business, it seems like you clearly need much more than $100. But believe it or not, there are actually a handful number of businesses you can start with as little as $100. The problem is that when we think of starting a business, we imagine big businesses and ignore all the ones that are much easier to start. You can buy a lawnmowers, for example, for $100 and start a side business cutting your neighbor's grass. In fact, I started this channel with just $100. I'm not one of those guys who started watching YouTube since its early days, but much later. And then I realized that most of these YouTubers just share their ideas and experiences. Even the most successful ones started with almost nothing. So I said to myself, I have a lot of ideas too. How about I start sharing them with the world? Let's see how that goes. I ordered a Blue Yeti microphone for a little over $100 and started making videos. I have to admit, they were absolutely horrible because I knew almost nothing about video editing or animations, and I didn't really care much because it was more like a hobby than a real business. But then I slowly started improving the quality and somehow it started picking up. So I had to hire animators and now it's like a little business. You don't necessarily have to start a YouTube channel. There are endless number of online businesses that do not require a lot of capital. Let's say you're good at playing a guitar or violin. You can find someone who can help you with shooting it and editing it for as little as $100, and then turn it into an online course and start selling it. And the great part about it is that you don't even need a website because right now there are multiple great platforms to sell courses for free. And if it turns out to be successful, you can slowly turn it into a legitimate business. You can easily earn back your money and make much more. We are lucky to be living in this age because no matter where you are in the world, pretty much everyone has internet. So this is probably one of the best options for everyone. Number 2. Trade some stocks. A lot of people keep watching videos or read about the stock market, hoping to start investing one day. If you haven't bought a single stock, the world of the stock market is quite ambiguous to you. When you actually get in and start, a lot of things start getting clear. Reading and watching videos about the stock market is one thing, and investing or trading is something else. What seems so obvious in theory isn't really that easy in practice. When you buy a stock and it goes down right in front of your eyes, you get emotional. Your brain stops working and your emotions get in charge. All that will be in your mind is to minimize losses. That's when you really learn. The point isn't to turn that $100 into 1,000, but to experience the market. But when you're trading with real money, you will be much more careful and cautious since your money is at stake. It's actually fun to look for the right company to throw your money in. You will read about different companies, analyze their financial statements, figure out if their price is undervalued or overvalued, and then make up your mind if this company worth your money or not. This experience totally worth it even if you lose $100. In fact, if you decide to invest a larger amount one day, you will at least know how the market works. Thirdly, invest in books. I grew up watching my parents live paycheck to paycheck and struggle financially, and I promised myself that when I grow up, I'm not gonna live like that. But the problem was that I didn't know how to do that. My parents told me that if I keep getting good grades, I'll find a good job when I grow up and I won't have to worry about money. But at some point, I started reading books outside the school and accidentally came across Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And that's where the magic happened. I was introduced to the world of money, and to be honest, I was shocked about how little I knew about money, even though that I use it every single day. You probably have heard this millions of times, but the moment you make that shift in your mentality, your perspective changes and you will start making different decisions that will slowly lead you to financial independence. A lot of people watch a video or two here on YouTube and then they think that they're financial gurus. Let me ask you something. How many videos you have watched for the past week? Dozens, if not hundreds. Because YouTube is entertainment. You might learn a thing or two, but it's not gonna stick like when you read a book, because usually it takes you a couple of days, if not weeks, to finish a single book. And by then, these ideas will be embodied in you. Some of my favorite books on this matter are The Millionaire Fast Lane, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and few others. I'll just put them in the description. Number 4. Buy and sell something. A lot of people do not even have the basic business experience. They're so drained into the system where they haven't even made a single penny outside their job. So when you tell them to start a business, they keep postponing it because it's a strange world for them. But business is all about selling, and most businesses do not even build their products, but rather just buy low and sell high. The grocery store beside your house, for example, they do not produce what they sell, they have a supplier. The process of business is simpler than you think, but quite difficult to implement. The good news is that you don't have to spend big and open your store to learn that. You can just go to eBay and find something that you can resell to your neighbors, for example, for a slightly higher price. That experience will improve your social skills, analytical skills, and negotiating skills. You might not make a lot of money by buying and selling with just $100. However, you will learn much more than you will do with a 4-year degree in business. That will probably cost you $100,000. You will have to analyze the market. Who would be your potential consumers? What would be the appropriate price? How to deal with your clients, and on and on. In fact, there are actually people who make a living out of this. But if you think that's not for you, here is another idea. Learn a valuable skill. What you could also do is that with that $100 is learn a valuable skill that can earn you much more later on. This is probably the best option if you're struggling financially or looking for a side hustle. You can invest it in a social media course. Every business is now looking for someone who actually understands how these algorithms work. Or you can learn graphic designing, copywriting, web designing. There are endless number of online opportunities. Of course, you can find free materials, even here on YouTube. So why buy a course? Usually, the free stuff isn't as good as paid courses. They're better organized, and after taking the entire course, you feel like you actually learned the skill. Compared to the free stuff where you have to keep searching for everything separately. And secondly, once you pay for something, you feel obligated to take that course because you just spent $100. In fact, it will probably motivate you to take action after taking the course to earn back that money that you have spent on the course. $100 isn't a lot of money and you can't do much with it. So all the options we discussed in this video are more about educating yourself, stepping up your business and analytical skills and getting valuable experience that will pay back in the long run. But now it's your turn. How and where would you invest your first $100? Thanks for watching, and until next time.